Hello, this is Brother Teacher with another informational video on your health. In this particular segment, I want to talk to you about a remedy to get rid of yeast in your head, dandruff, and also vaginal yeast or yeast infections that women may encounter, which is very common to women. How do we get rid of yeast and candida, thrush even, which is often found in the mouth, on the tongue? All of these are yeast or candida, forms of yeast or yeast infections. So let's understand this first, ladies and gentlemen. I'm taking my time and talking to you. Understand this, comprehend this. Yeast does not cause itself. Say it again. Yeast does not cause itself. It doesn't just happen. It does not just simply occur. It is not something that occurs externally, but instead it is a result of something that's happening in your body internally, and that is really in the colon. Hippocrates said many years ago that all disease begins in the colon, your large intestine, the colon. That's where all diseases begin, and then it proliferates. It spreads out throughout your body in the form of all types of conditions, maladies, diseases, and even cancer. So what am I really saying to you? It's directly related to what we eat. For the most part, directly related to what we eat. So now, you ladies who have those uncomfortable yeast infections, complex dandruff issues, men and women, yeast or sebum buildup on the scalp. I have an issue with dandruff, and I have for many years, since I was about 18 years old. But there is a way. We can treat these things externally, especially the dandruff. And we can use some forms of concoctions for even you ladies with vaginal yeast. But we need to address what causes the problem in the first place. That's something that's going on in your gut. And when we talk about the gut, we're actually talking about your intestines, your large intestines. So if you fix your large intestine, then the other issues that you're dealing with, the yeast, candida, bacteria, growth, will go away. So first of all, what are we doing that's causing the issue in the first place? It's what we're consuming. Listen to me for a moment. I want to encourage you to keep a few things out of your diet that will help your intestines rebuild the microbiome. That means all of the billions and billions of bacteria that live in your intestinal tract. Its purpose is to keep homeostasis, a balance in the human body. But there are some things that we've been doing to our bodies that's been causing disease. There are some things that we intake or ingest that are inflammatory to the body, and our bodies respond accordingly by showing us symptoms and conditions: arthritis, respiratory issues, allergic reactions, yeast infections, dandruff, psoriasis, hives, circulatory issues. gastrointestinal issues such as leaky gut, IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome, diverticulitis, Crohn's disease, you name it. Our bodies are just responding to something that we've done to it. So let's cut to the chase. Stop doing to your body what you've been doing to your body. No matter how comfortable it is and has been to you, or how enjoyable it has been in terms of your diet, whether rubber meets the road, either you want to be healthy or you don't. So these are the things that you must remove from your diet. Now, don't forget, I've said in time past, I am a student of life. I'm constantly still learning many things, as you should be as well. You may be learning some things from me or gleaning some things from me that you did not already know. I'm still learning myself. We stop learning when we die. But as long as our eyes are open, as long as we have the function of our brains, we will continue to learn. So these are the things that you must remove from your diet. And I've listed 5. There should be no processed foods in our diets. If it comes in a bag, a can, any sort of package or a box, and it has ingredients, it's not real food. Even though it may have some components of food in it, all of the other things that's contained therein make it null and void as food. Food is supposed to be referred to as whole food, W-H-O-L-E, whole, which means complete. You add something to that, then it becomes incomplete. Okay, so no processed foods. Now, I will talk to you later on, perhaps, about emergencies and using these types of foods in an emergency. That's permissible. That's acceptable because it's an emergency. If the grid goes down, or if you can't get to the grocery store and you have canned goods, by all means use those things that are prepackaged. It only stands to reason. But under ordinary circumstances and in your daily life, when you don't have these situations to contend with, stay away from them. Okay? So processed foods was number 1. You want to stay away from white rice, white flour. It's white. It's bleached. It's not real. You may enjoy the taste, but it's not real. Now someone might say, let me add this. You mean I can't have my donuts? It's made with white flour, right? I can't have my Asian takeout that comes 99% of the time with white rice? No. Can't have your broccoli and rice and all of the other things, your beans and rice. If the rice is white, it ain't right. Okay, no pun intended. So all of your bakery goods, 99% of the time, are made out of white flour. Can't have it. Okay, another thing that you want to stay away from is dairy. Dairy is inflammatory. It causes yeast to grow, bacteria to grow. Dairy does. Okay? Animal protein. I'm sorry. This pricks a lot of people. Even myself, because we have all grown up eating meat from animals. Okay? But you should be on a journey to try to alleviate your issues by removing as much of those animal products on a daily basis as possible. And if you're not on that journey, don't expect to be healthy. Don't expect to be free of disease at some point in your life. So, processed foods, animal protein, or meat, if you will, white rice and flour, and anything similar, and no dairy. Here's the big one. This is one thing that yeast grows in. Yeast loves this particular food, and so does cancer. Cancer, first of all, grows and lives very comfortably in an acidic or acid environment. Ladies and gentlemen, you must listen. You must remove sugar from your diet. I said it. Remove sugar from your diet. White sugar. Remove it. Because cancer and yeast, candida, grows in sugar or with sugar. It feeds off of it. And if you ever want to get rid of dandruff, which is a yeast, a fungus, if you ever want to get rid of vaginal yeast or yeast infections, ladies, you need to get rid of sugar. So here's what you do. I've told you those things that you need to remove from your diet. Okay, I'm going to say it again, make sure I have them all before I depart, because I want you to be thoroughly aware of what you need to do. No processed foods, no animal protein or products, that includes eggs, no white rice, no white flour, no dairy, and definitely no sugar. So here's what we're going to do. If you are serious about getting rid of yeast and getting rid of cancer or potential cancer, some can go 3 days, but I recommend 3 to 7 days to go on this protocol. So let's skip the 3 days and say 7, because sometimes we want to be nice to some of you and say, well, we'll give you 3 days because you really don't feel like going through 4, 5, 6, 7 days. I'm gonna hit you pretty hard. See, here is the constructive criticism. Either you want to live or you don't. Either you want to be healthy or you don't. If you want to be healthy and live as long as you possibly can and as healthy as you possibly can, you'll do what it takes. So I'm advising you to do it for 7 days. And what I'm advising you to do is to remove those 6 items from your diet. Someone's going to ask the question, well, what do I replace them with? I can't hold everyone's hands, I'm sorry. What you should be already consuming should be organic foods in the first place, minus meat. Let's take that one out for the sake of this video, because I'm not encouraging you to do meat in this particular protocol. Alright, so plenty of vegetables, the whole array of vegetables, colorful vegetables, all of your dark green vegetables. We want to do this for 7 days. First, what we're doing is the colon cleanse. We're going to call it that, right? When you remove, it was 5 items. When you remove processed foods, animal protein, white flour, and rice, etc., dairy and sugar from your diet, this is your colon cleanse right here. This is the process that you're going through. All right. Now, this means also that you can't drink pop, which has sugar. You can't eat yogurt, which has sugar and dairy. You can't eat Pop-Tarts. You can't eat donuts. You can't eat cookies and bacon and biscuits with jelly and pancakes with syrup. You can't even have honey. You can't even eat fruit. Because what's fruit, brother teacher? Sugar. It's a natural sugar, but it's still sugar. Okay? We'll talk about that a little later as far as fruit goes. But you're not supposed to have any type of sugar, to include fruit. Now, don't insult my intelligence by saying that you don't know what I mean. And don't insult, your own intelligence, because you do know what I mean. So remove the sugar, all forms, to include fruit, for 7 days. Okay? Now, eat wholesome meals chocked full of primarily vegetables. You can have some beans for this particular process. Now, while you're doing that, there's 4 ingredients I want you to have a tea that you make and that you drink 3 times a day. In the morning, in the middle of the day, and in the evening. And here's that tea. I want you to go to your health food store. You don't know where it's at? Find it. If you don't know where one is, find one. Look it up. We can find all kinds of things when we want to go shopping for those gifts, ladies, and for those gifts, guys, and those things that you want to make yourself feel special. Feel special about your health today. This is called Wormwood. Get you 3-4 ounces of wormwood. What wormwood does is kill parasites. It kills fungus and bacteria. All right? You want to also get black walnut. Black walnut. Wormwood and black walnut. Now, you also want to get, smells good, marigold. I have it in the leaf form, okay? This is marigold. The 3 things that I just showed you are good for killing bacteria, fungus, and yeast. All right? And the 4th one is one of the greatest bacteria killing elements out here. That's called Goldenseal. Goldenseal. Now, Goldenseal kills parasites and bacteria as well. All of these do the same and similar work, okay, in the body. So what you want to do, if you notice, I have mine in bags. That's how I purchased them. I don't have these stored for weeks on end, okay? I use this daily if I'm going to use this particular protocol. So what I advise you to do is to get you 1 large bag. Mix all 4 ingredients, shake it up in the bag, get you a Ziploc bag or some clear plastic bag, shake it up and until it's thoroughly mixed. And you get a teaspoon of this mixture. You boil, use some water, you place that teaspoon in that water and make you a tea 3 times a day. I already told you that. Morning, middle of the day, and the evening. Okay? On an empty stomach, you drink that tea. But before you drink the tea, make sure, since you have leaves in here as well, you want to strain the residue. Okay? You want to use a strainer or a cheesecloth or something thin, or even a coffee filter, and strain it, and you drink the tea, the hot tea. Okay? Let it sit for about 5 minutes after you boil your water with these elements in it. You boil your water, turn your heat down really low, put your teaspoon in the water. It should be a cup of water, about 8 ounces, okay? And when it just starts to boil, turn the fire off and let it sit for about 5 minutes. Pour it in your cup, straining the residual thing, if you will, like I said before. Drink it 3 times a day. And what you're doing is helping to kill all of the yeast that's built up in your body. And you will find, ladies, that your yeast infection will go away. We're going to do this for 7 days. You will find that your dandruff will start to go away. Not that you still can't do something topically. A natural shampoo. You can use apple cider vinegar. You can use baking soda in your head as a conditioner as well. Let it sit for about 5 minutes and rinse it out. Okay? Let the baking soda sit, in other words, on your scalp. Make a paste. Let it sit for about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Rinse it back out with some warm water. Put some apple cider vinegar in some warm water. Rinse it out real good. And follow it with some clear water. Externally, topically. Okay? But still use your tea 3 times a day for 7 days. And you will see your dandruff clear up. And ladies, you will see a miracle happen in your vagina as far as the yeast infections are concerned. Now, I would be remiss if I don't mention this to you, and I want you to listen to me very carefully. You need to start trusting you and stop trusting the man or the woman in the white lab coat or jacket so much. Antibiotics, some doctors will tell you this openly, they cause yeast infections, ladies. So a lot of times when you have yeast infections, it's not just simply what you've been eating. It's also the result of you taking antibiotics. So are you taking antibiotics for some reason? Then you can expect a yeast infection. That's a fact. So steer clear of antibiotics. And you tell your doctor that you don't want one, especially if you really don't need one. The ingredients that I just told you to use for your tea, they are antibacterial. That's your antibiotic, okay? Because antibiotics are fighting what? Bacteria, supposedly. But if you're using nature for nature, which is what we are, that's the best antibiotic, is antibacterials. Antibacterial herbs, as it were. Now, I hope you learned something just now. Stay away from sugar. If you want to be healthy, get rid of yeast, not encourage cancer cells to grow, and you want to have just overall good health, stay away from processed foods as much as you possibly can. Get rid of the meat over a period of time. I'm not trying to make you a vegetarian or a so-called vegan. I'm not trying to convince you to do that. I'm just telling you how your body works and what works against your body. Okay? So again, let's recap. Sugar, dairy, white rice, flour, etc., animal protein, and processed foods, get it out your diet. At least for 7 days. Okay? While you are going through that process for 7 days, making sure those things are out of your diet, and you replacing those things with good wholesome greens and all forms of vegetation, vegetables if you will. Include those 4 ingredients that I gave you: wormwood, marigold, there we go, I did say Goldenseal and black walnut. I dropped one of them here. But anyway, those 4 items into your tea. Mix them up in the bag again. 1 teaspoon per cup of hot water. Let it steep. Pour the residue out. Drink your tea 3 times a day, as I said. And you will be on your way to a healthier gut and flora in your gut. Now, once you finished this protocol, I want you to get something called acidophilus, and it's going to help to put those friendly, those beautiful bacteria back into your gut that have been compromised because of our bad food choices over the years, for the most part. Buy acidophilus. Go to your health food store and you ask for acidophilus or some sort of probiotic. This one here is Probi 20 billion. Probi 20 billion. This is a probiotic. It puts all of those friendly bacteria back in your gut, and then your body will do the rest. I know you've learned something today. Let me know by showing me some appreciation and love in the comment section below that you've learned something. That's all I want to know. If you've learned something, maybe learned something that you've never known before. Maybe you are a little bit more in touch with your own physiology, your own body. Now, this is Brother Teacher. I'll see you in the next video. And before that, make sure that if there's anything on your mind that you would like me to address, that you put that down in the comment section below as well. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. He loves you, and I love you as well. So long.